Summer jobs. Most kids dream of lifeguarding, maybe working at a theme park. Me? I landed a gig at the local ice rink. Seemed perfect. Beat the brutal heat wave scorching the city, right? Nice. The job itself wasn't bad. Rent skates, wipe down counters, restock the bathrooms. Pretty standard stuff. But there was one rule hammered into us constantly, a sacred commandment etched in frost. Keep the rink temperature below freezing. Always. 19 to 29 degrees Fahrenheit. That was the sweet spot. My boss, let's call him Frank. Frank was obsessed with that thermostat. More than obsessed. Paranoid. Even if I just checked it, 5 minutes later, there he'd be, peering at the digital readout like his life depended on it. Which maybe it kinda did. My first real weirdness happened early. Clocked in a few minutes late one morning before opening. Found Frank practically sprinting towards the thermostat. He jumped like I'd tased him when he saw me. Sweat beaded on his forehead, even in the chill. "Seen anybody around here yet?" he asked, voice tight. I checked the clock. "Not for another hour, Frank." His smile was relieved, more like a grimace. Good, good. Then he quickly roped me into helping set up this massive new arcade cabinet. A two-seater beast with speakers that could wake the dead. Little did I know how apt that description would be. I plugged it in, hit the power. The screen flickered, the speakers gave a monstrous roar, and then darkness. Total blackout. Just the emergency exit signs casting their sickly red glow. I heard Frank curse, his footsteps pounding towards the breaker box in the back. Jenny, the girl at concessions, just vanished into the kitchen. As I stumbled out of the arcade, reeling, it hit me. The smell, oh God, like raw meat left in a dumpster under the July sun. Thick, cloying. You could almost taste the rot. I figured it was the kitchen drains backing up in the heat. Wishful thinking. Frank got the lights back, sweating bullets. "Old wiring," he panted, wiping his brow, avoiding my eyes. "Whole place goes dark if a fly farts near the circuit." But then he didn't move. He just stood there, staring at the thermostat, watching the numbers like a hawk. That smell. It lingered in my clothes all the way home. A sour, decaying ghost. Things got colder in a different way a few days later. Frank was out running errands. Left Jenny and me holding down the fort. Big mistake. A group of kids flagged me down from the arcade. The new cabinet was freezing up, eating quarters. Took me forever to troubleshoot the damn thing. And while I was wrestling with pixels and power cords, I started sweating. Not normal. The main rink area stays chilly, mid-50s. I dress for it, but this heat, it felt like it was pushing in, winning. I excused myself, pretending not to panic, and beelined for the rink thermostat. 30 degrees, still below freezing, just relief washed over me, cold and sharp. Figured the AC in the arcade was just struggling, got the game running, pushed through the afternoon rush. Feet aching, head pounding. By closing time, I was dead on my feet. Flipped the sign to closed. Killed the main lights. Then I remembered. I hadn't checked the rink temp in hours. Rule number 1, always check. 35 degrees. Not catastrophic, but creeping up. I adjusted it down. Heard the system groan as it pumped more coolant. Started heading for the exit and stopped dead. Down the hall to the restrooms, standing right at the end, bathed in the dim crimson glow of the exit sign, was a man, just standing there, motionless. "We're closed," I called out, voice tight. "Gotta lock up." Nothing, not a twitch. "Hey, you need the restroom?" Maybe he was sick. Concession nachos can be brutal. Slowly, too slowly, he turned his head towards me. His face, God, his face. In that blood-red light, it looked wrong, slack, lifeless, like a mask made of wax that hadn't set right. His head hung low, then lifted with unnatural slowness. His eyes, cloudy, opaque, but I felt them lock onto mine, and then it hit. An ice-cold shiver that sliced right through my jacket, down to my bones. Pure, primal fear. I wrapped my arms around myself, and he was gone. Just vanished. Didn't check the restrooms, didn't look back. I was out that door faster than a Zamboni on a fresh sheet. Next day, I told Frank. Described the lifeless face, the vacant eyes, the chill. He listened, stone-faced. What did he look like? He finally asked. I described the suit. Outdated, wide lapels, flared pants. Frank just nodded, slow and heavy. Did the rink go above freezing yesterday? It did, I admitted, but I fixed it. He looked resigned. Gotta keep an eye on it. he muttered, already turning away. You'll see people like that around here. It'll be okay. Just keep an eye on the rink. I glanced at Jenny. She met my eyes for a split second, pure dread in them, then looked away like she'd been burned. We didn't speak of it. Then came the blackout, the real one. Summer heat pushed the grid past breaking point. Downtown went dark. Frank bolted outside to wrestle with the ancient backup generator, yelling over his shoulder, "Do not let anyone near the ice." Customers milled in the dining area at first, clinging to the fading cool air. But as the minutes bled into an hour, the chill bled away too, replaced by a suffocating, muggy heat. They drifted out, leaving Jenny and me alone in the stifling gloom. Frank wasn't winning his battle with the generator. Jenny went out to see if we could just leave. The air, it was turning thick, oppressive. I had to know. The thermostat had a backup battery. I walked towards it, the silence pressing in. 40 degrees, and climbing. My blood ran cold. 40. That's not freezing. That's thawing. And then, movement. Behind me, on the ice. And the smell. God, the smell. That rancid, putrid stench of spoiled meat, 1,000 times worse. Flooding the humid air, thick enough to choke on. My legs turned to jelly, but terror is a powerful fuel. I ran. Stupidly, I cut across the rink itself. My feet went out from under me instantly. I hit the ice hard. The wind knocked out of me. I looked up and froze. Not from the cold, from the sight. They were everywhere, dozens of them, standing silently on the melting ice. Figures in torn, blood-stained business clothes, suits and dresses from another decade. Their faces, frozen in masks of pure terror, silent screams etched onto blue-tinged skin. Some looked crushed, limbs bent wrong, others pale and bloated, but all shared those same horrible cloudy eyes, dead eyes, locked onto me, a silent, ghastly audience on the thawing stage of their tomb. I screamed, a raw animal sound, scrambled, slipped, fell again, clawed my way across the treacherous surface towards the far exit. Pure adrenaline, I didn't look back, burst through the doors into the blinding, oppressive heat. Jenny's car was gone. Smart girl, I didn't lock up. I just ran. Called Frank the next day, told him everything. The thaw, the smell, the crowd. He didn't sound surprised, just tired. You know that gravel lot down the street? He asked, voice flat. Used to be an office building. Collapsed decades ago when I was a kid. Bad. Real bad. Lots of people didn't make it. He paused. I could almost hear the memory haunting him. Morgue was packed, overflowing. Couldn't handle them all. Where do you put bodies in July heat? Only one place in town cold enough. This place. My ice rink. They laid them out right here, on this ice, for days, waiting for names, for families, for a trip to a final grave that wasn't a frozen slab under fluorescent lights. Frank knew. He'd always known. That's why the thermostat was gospel. That's why the smell came when the power died. That's who was watching from the dark hallways when the temperature crept up. They weren't guests. They were tenants, permanent ones, trapped in the cold, only visible when their prison started to fail. He offered no solution, no comfort, just the truth, a truth that curdled in my gut. I understood what I saw, the frozen dead of a summer tragedy, bound to the ice that preserved them. But understanding doesn't unsee those faces, doesn't erase that smell, doesn't stop the phantom chill that still runs down my spine when I think about walking back into that rink, especially when the forecast calls for another scorcher. The ice might be solid again, the thermostat reading a safe 22 degrees, but I know what's waiting just below the surface, waiting for the heat, waiting for the lights to go out. I never went back. Some summer jobs, they leave a chill that never really thaws.